It is 12 o'clock and time for us to begin our fifth House Transportation Committee for this session. I would ask the members and guests, as always, please silence your cell phones during the committee meeting. Also, to remind everybody in the audience that any presentations and amendments considered at today's meeting have been posted to the meeting materials tab on the committee's website. With that, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Representative Bivens.
Here.
Representative Branscombe.
Here.
Representative Bridges. Here. Representative Donworth. Here. Representative Dossett. Representative Elliott. Representative Hale.
Present.
Representative Heverin. Representative Hodgson.
Here.
Representative Huff.
Here.
Representative Lehman.
Here.
Representative Lewis.
Here.
Representative McCool.
Here.
Representative Neighbors.
Here.
Representative Rourke.
Here.
Representative Smith.
Here.
Representative Tackett Lafferty.
Here.
Representative Thomas.
Present.
Representative Upchurch.
Here.
Vice Chair Imes.
Here.
Chairman Blanton.
Present. It appears we do have a quorum present and are duly constituted to do our business. Members, copies of the last meeting's minutes are in your packet from March the 4th. If you've had time to review those, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Motion. Do I hear a second? Second. Motion second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Now, I have a special guest I'd like to introduce this afternoon. He's going to be serving as my de facto co-chair for us in transportation today. Would you join me in welcoming Mr. William Huffman?
Thank you.
Anything you need to tell him, William?
I'm going to run for Congress in 2038 and I'm going to win.
There you go. Very good. Do any other members have any guests they'd like to recognize? If not, we'll jump into the agenda. We are going to go slightly out of order to accommodate Chairman Higdon with his bill. We would ask him to come forward for Senate Bill 136.
Mr. Chairman, Senator Jimmy Higdon, 14th Senate District, and I'm not running for Congress. Senate Bill 36 would qualify as a simple little bill, but it's quite thick, so it doesn't qualify. Any of you on the committee that has not had a call in the last 12 months about CAVIS? Okay, well, good. You got one. CAVIS was implemented by the Transportation Cabinet, and we've had, it was a challenge. This is cleanup language for that the clerks need, and agreed upon language between the clerks and the Transportation Cabinet.
Mr.
There is
Chairman,
a committee sub.
Yep, that's what I was getting ready to say. Let me interrupt you. We do have a committee sub. And I have a motion to adopt the committee sub. Do I hear a second? Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Committee sub is adopted. Please proceed. I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's okay, Mr. Chairman. All the committee sub does, it's a last minute add-on that the clerks found that they needed. And establish procedures for electronic submissions of liens and satisfactions. Also states that lien holders shall begin using electronic title and registration systems beginning July 1, 2026. No, sir. And I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Most of us know who you are, but would you, for the record, because you're at the table, please introduce yourself?
Jason Denny, Anderson County Clerk and current Treasurer of the Association.
Thank you. We do have some questions. Representative Tackett Lafferty.
I just have a question about how the first paper title will work in this bill?
The first paper title, I'm going to defer.
Can you
So
go
I
into
think-
detail?
I think in the bill, correct me if I'm wrong, that it says that there will not be an original paper
That was an
title.
original draft. I don't know if you
Okay.
got the new copy. That has
Okay.
been stricken.
Great, thank you. Thank you.
That was
very
taken
much.
out.
Okay, thank you very much. That was my question.
Representative Huff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a question about the electronic lien filing. If we still get a paper title, we're not going to the other title yet, but it says shall require. So
That
at
was
that
not,
point,
that was
well,
not our language in the bill. So that was not our suggestion in the bill. I can't speak on that. You're talking about section 25, I believe it is, at the back of the bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is not our language.
Would- Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I believe I can answer that question.
Please introduce yourself for the record.
Thank you very much. My name is Tom Underwood. I represent Champ Title, which is part of the ELT system. That language is agreed to by the banks. If Representative Huff, if you look at the second part of that section, it said those that are not typically involved in doing financing on vehicles that would not be required to do use the system. This is primarily involving the banks and those. There's going to be additional work on that because it doesn't go into effect until July 1 of 2026, and we'd be glad to get input from you on that.
All righty. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other members have any questions? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Representative Bivens? Yes. Representative Branscombe?
Yes.
Representative Bridges? Yes. Representative Donworth?
Yes.
Representative Dossett? Representative Elliott? Okay. Representative Elliott? Aye. Representative Hale?
Yes.
Representative Heverin?
Yes.
Representative Hodgson?
Aye.
Representative Huff?
Yes.
Representative Imes?
Yes.
Representative Lehman?
Yes.
Representative Lewis?
Yes.
Representative McCool?
Yes.
Representative Neighbors?
Yes.
Representative Rorks?
Yes.
Representative Smith? Representative Tackett Lafferty?
Yes.
Representative Thomas?
No. I'm sorry. Yes. I was thinking earlier or something. Sorry, Cinder.
Representative Upchurch?
My mind was somewhere else.
Chairman Blanton?
Aye. And Senate Bill 136 is reported with favorable expression with the committee sub attached. There too, same should do so on the floor. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. And Representative Thomas, I think was thinking about running for Congress there when we woke him up.
Mr. Chairman, I think that was Breakfast Club hazing there.
Very good. Very good. Next up on the agenda will be Senate Bill 43 with Senator Douglas. Welcome, Senator. Please introduce yourselves for the record.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you very much House Transportation Committee. I am Senator Donald Douglas, District 22.
And again, Senator Jimmy Higdon, 14th Senate District.
And we do have a committee sub on this bill as well. We have a motion on the sub. Do I hear a second? Motion is second on the committee sub. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay.
For those who want,
The committee sub is adopted. Please proceed.
okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, Senate Bill 43 really just updates KRS 186.444, and it really addresses the Driver's License Medical Review Board. The bill actually surrounds the evaluation and ultimately the disposition of cases regarding those people who have physical and or mental disabilities or impairments. Myself, along with the senator from Marion 14 and the transportation staff have worked with the transportation cabinet on this bill because we wanted something that was timely, something that was fair, and something that was more open for our constituents. And I want to thank the Transportation Cabinet for this. The bill, I want to say, does not alter the purpose of the Medical Review Board, but it certainly adds a lot more flexibility, it adds more transparency, and it adds more opportunity for our constituents and our citizens to participate in the medical review process that takes them off the road. When we take a look at the sections of the bill, I'm happy to go into more depth, but just superficially, Section 1 makes changes in the Medical Review Board. It actually sets out which healthcare providers can be on the board.
Motion on the bill.
Have a motion and a second. Y'all want to continue?
No, sir.
Any questions of the members? Representative Rourke.
Thank you. Senator, would you mind to explain a little bit more what the motivation for the bill, what was maybe the problem that was going on that brought the bill to your attention?
Let me have Senator Higdon give you a little story.
Senator Douglas and I worked on this during the interim, but many of you all have probably received calls about the Medical Review Board, and so before now, this bill takes away pretty much anonymous reporting. I had a constituent that went to the county clerk's office to get his disabled veteran's license plate. It's free. He was 100% medically disabled, and his license plate is supposed to be free. Well, the clerk couldn't give it to him because of CAVIS. So he goes home and tries to order it online. He couldn't get it online. So he calls the Transportation Cabinet, and he talks to the lady at the Transportation Cabinet. And the conversation got maybe a little sideways, but he kept telling the receptionist that he was 100% medically disabled. So she turns him into the Medical Review Board. If this man's 100% medically disabled, he shouldn't be driving. Of course, most of you, if you're familiar with the military or veterans, 100% medically disabled is a classification. It doesn't mean that you're bedridden and can't get out. So anyway, they send him a notice, get a physical. He goes to VA and gets a physical, and I have the physical right here. And Medical Review Board denied this physical, signed by a doctor at the VA hospital. And I just want to add a couple things here. It puts down he has neuropathy and PTSD. And there's a couple questions on this medical form that the doctor answered. Said, in your professional opinion, do any of these conditions listed above currently impair this individual's ability to safely operate a motor vehicle? Answer, no. In your professional opinion, is this individual physically fit to safely operate a motor vehicle? Yes. And there's more questions that they answered yes, that he was capable. This is a doctor at the VA. But the medical team at the Medical Review Board denied him again. And that's when I got involved. And so the rest is history. They have some administrative regs that they're doing that only a doctor or a police officer can now report a person to the Medical Review Board to have their license revoked. Now, there is an exception. 2 family members can sign a notarized affidavit to get their family member, get their license removed. So it was needed, and I think we're going to see our constituents treated a little more fairly if they ever run into a situation with the Medical Review Board. Sorry, that's a long answer, but it was an important part of this bill.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And I'll also point out that it also requires that one member of the Medical Review Board is a member in the area relevant to the case, so that we have a specialist dealing with that particular issue. Representative Lehman.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Specifically on the proposed sub, there's a section 4 was added, and I just trying to read. We heard a bill earlier this session that sounds a lot like this. Is that what was intended to take There was another House bill about third-party identity processors. Is this the same language from that bill? Do you know offhand? And I don't remember the bill number.
Well, I can help out. That's pretty much fairly identical, with the exception that bill wouldn't pass because it included county clerks or circuit court clerks. This amendment, this amendment says that no government officials can participate, so that excludes the clerks. And the reason that's in there, we're all going to have some problems. We all voted, most of us voted for 15-year-olds to be able to get a permit. So we're going to have a rush of people headed to the to do this. So we need some help. And there's another bill that another amendment on another bill that we're asking for the state police and transportation cabinet to get ready and to report back to us later this year about allowing permit testing at the local level.
Okay, thank you for that.
Long answer, but I want you to know this is put in there for us to explain to our constituents that we are trying to get something done to deal with these long lines.
I appreciate the clarification. Thank you.
Representative Dossett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Senator Higgins, I want to thank you for your persistence on this issue. I personally had 3 individuals from Christian County who dealt with something very similar, and also want to offer my thanks to the staff here from the Transportation Committee as well, because in each case, those individuals told me the only time they spoke with a live person was when they were speaking to members of the Transportation Committee. They were the ones that they could have a conversation with. When they would get a hold of medical review, they could not get an answer. No one would answer the phone. And it was an upheaval on each of those individuals' lives. So I want to thank you for what you've done on this, and I am greatly appreciated.
Representative Donworth.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the section 1, part 2 on here, it strikes the language that says each member of the review board will receive $200 per day, and instead says they'll use reasonable efforts to minimize the costs. Could you kind of explain the reasoning on that, and how will that be determined going forward, and how will we make sure that this is efficient?
Well, the Transportation Cabinet will be responsible for setting up the reimbursement. What the purpose was really to try to minimize the cost of running the medical review board. We want to be very conscious of not spending too much, but we want to make sure that if people are turning in reasonable receipts, that they're reimbursed for those. So it's in flux right now. We're going to wait, and the Transportation Cabinet will propagate some regulations regarding how much the reimbursement will be.
Can I jump in and help you there on that a little bit? Currently, there's 3 members of the medical review board. This bill says one medical professional of, if you have a optometrist, if it's an eye issue, and Transportation Cabinet says they're having a very difficult time to get a professional into the office for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours for $200. So they're going to do administrative regs, and they're going to deal with that. And it should not be any extra cost, because we're going to do it with 1 doctor instead of 3.
The other thing is I've actually talked to the people in the Transportation Cabinet, and it seemed that a lot of the people on the board were from the academic space. And one of the conversations I had was we certainly need to open this up not only to academic physicians, but also to corporate physicians as well as private practice physicians. And I've asked them to somehow open up a pathway where we can advertise to these healthcare providers that this opportunity is available, because many doctors out in the private space don't know that this opportunity is available to serve on a board like this.
Thank you.
Any other questions from members? Seeing none, and then we do have a motion on the bill as amended by the committee sub. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Representative Bivens?
Yes.
Representative Branscombe.
Yes.
Representative Bridges. Representative Donworth.
I'd like to briefly explain my vote, please.
You may.
Thank you. I am a yes on this, but I would encourage people, the bill sponsor, as we're working through this process, to make sure that we do nail those down before, but nail down the administrative regulations before this goes into effect. That's my only hesitation on it. But thank you.
Representative Dossett.
Yes.
Representative Elliott. Representative Hale.
Yes.
Representative Heverin. Representative Hodgson. Representative Huff.
Yes.
Representative Imes.
Yes.
Representative Lehman.
Yes.
Representative Lewis.
Yes.
Representative McCool.
Yes.
Representative Neighbors.
Yes.
Representative Rorks.
Yes.
Representative Smith. Yes. Representative Tackett Lafferty.
Yes.
Representative Thomas.
Aye.
Representative Upchurch.
Yes.
Chairman Blanton.
Aye. Senate Bill 43 is reported with favorable expression with the committee sub attached thereto. We do have a title amendment on Senate Bill 43. I need a motion on the title amendment. Motion and second made on the title amendment. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Transportation Committee.
All right, next up on our agenda will be Senate Bill 38 with Senator Greg Elkins. Gentlemen, welcome, and please introduce yourselves for the record, and we may begin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am State Senator Greg Elkins, 28th Senate District.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative David Hale, representing the 74th Legislative District.
We do have a committee sub on Senate Bill 38, and it's my understanding we do plan on calling that sub. So I got
Yes.
have a motion on the sub. Do I hear a second? Motion second on the sub. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay. The sub is adopted. Please begin.
You go first. No.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, members of this committee, for allowing me to present Senate Bill 38. Senate Bill 38 attempts to address a major problem that we have on our Kentucky roadways, drivers violating stop arms on our school buses. And if you've never driven a school bus, you probably have no reason to know just how big this problem really is. Every year, the National Association of Transportation Directors asks states to volunteer to participate in a safety study. 1,491 Kentucky school bus drivers were asked to keep track of every illegal passing over the course of one day.
We have a motion second on the bill. Gentlemen, would you like to continue?
No, sir. Thank you.
Would any of the members have questions?
I would be happy to address any
Representative Hodgson.
questions.
Okay, Chairman Blanton had a similar concept of a bill that we struggled with in this committee for several years, and he came up with an excellent solution, which was that when the camera detects and record a license plate number of a violator, that a uniformed police officer would turn on the blue lights, pull them over, and give them a moving violation right there. I like that version. This is still more the what we've seen before, which is a computer doing a detection and issuing somebody a ticket that's really a civil penalty but can't get your license or your registration revoked. I really struggle with the idea of allowing the computer to issue the ticket. Is there any possibility that you could modify your bill to be more like Chairman Blanton's bill about work zones, where a live uniformed officer would take the final enforcement action?
So the issue with that is, and if you extrapolate out the numbers of violations that have occurred in the course of one day, and you look at that, that's about one violation for every school bus every third day. So every school bus is going to have a stop arm violation on average of every third day. And in 2023, there were 361 citations issued by law enforcement, and that was on about estimate of about 20,000 stop arm violations. There were 361 tickets issued. And of that, there were only 151 of those tickets were resulted in an actual fine. So I feared that with this is different than a work zone, and that this is the school bus moves around, whereas a work zone is there for the duration of time. So I'd be open to suggestions, Representative Hodgson, but I just don't know how we would make that work.
Mr. Chair, can I add just a quick comment?
You may.
I want to thank Senator Elkins, excuse me, for his work on this bill this year. This was something that, for the 3 years running, I have worked on this bill to try to make our students that are exiting and going onto the bus and exiting off the bus safer. I think there's probably not a more dangerous time in their school day than those few split seconds that they cross the road, get on the bus, get off the bus. And as statistics have shown, it happens more than any of us, I think, can comprehend. Hundreds of times a day that it happens, and I know there's issues with members about cameras recording license plates. I realize that. I'm not the most favorable of cameras in many instances myself, but I really don't have no sympathy for anybody that passes a stopped school bus. And we've been fortunate in this state so far, but there are several children that are killed each year by people not observing the arm that's out there. And honestly, I think if we could capture an image that would convict them or show who's doing that, I think it's very well worth the effort. So I want to thank Senator Elkins for running this bill this year. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chair, if I may expand on that just a bit, please. So to the point that of the 1,491 school buses that participated in this one-day survey, there were 489 illegal passings recorded in that one day, and 11 of them were on the right side of the school bus, which is the side that the children are entering and exiting. And you can go on any of our social media, and I despise social media, but you can go on any of the TikToks or the Facebooks and search for illegal school bus passings and see some pretty scary videos that are out there, actual instances. So as Representative Hale said, it's happening far more than we know, and if we don't at least do something to stop it, it's going to result in catastrophe at some point. So thank you.
Representative McCool.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a comment if I can. I just want to say thank you for bringing this bill forward. I actually am a survivor of being hit by a truck after getting off a school bus. And so I'm going to be a yes on this. And I was very fortunate, even though it fractured my skull all the way around the left side and not did other things to me as well. But anything we can do I was just 9 years old, just getting off the bus and trying to get home in a hurry, and the truck was taking off at the same time. So they actually run the stop sign as well. Of course, that was a long time ago, and the system was a little bit different. But still, yet anything we can do to protect those young kids, I appreciate that.
Thank you, Representative McCool, for sharing that story. It is going, as you say, it happens, and so this is an avenue to allow the violators to actually pay for the equipment that's going to take to at least. We're certainly not going to stop this type driving, but maybe to at least curb it and cause drivers to think twice before they look at their cell phone at 7 in the morning when school buses are running. So.
Thank you. Representative McCool, I didn't realize that horse and buggies had stop signs on them. Representative Elliott.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I notice as I read through this that if you're cited with violating the running a stop sign or running the stop sign that the bus has out, that you can contest that in the district court, which was suggestion that I know I gave to Representative, my friend here, Representative Hale, last year, and I know this bill has had a pretty tortured process trying to get through the General Assembly. I had a question about when a determination is made that a violation has happened. And the language that I'm reading says that the law enforcement agency or the school district's agent by certified mail will send out to the owner of the vehicle that a violation has occurred. Who would be the agent, I guess, in the district? Is that the transportation director with the school? Or do you know who that would be? And then I guess, just jumping ahead a little bit, I could see where a lot of school districts would consult with a law enforcement agency as to whether or not the image that they have was an actual violation, going back to some concerns that Representative Hodgson has. Am I reading this correctly? Is that your reading as well, Senator Elkins?
It is, Representative Elliott, excellent question, and the bill contemplates or anticipates that the school resource officer would be the person who would work with the local law enforcement agency to issue the citation, whether that be, and there's been some back and forth, whether that's a civil penalty or a criminal penalty. I think we've landed on most recently it being a civil penalty, but that is the school resource officer that would be the person tasked with that.
Thank you.
Representative Heverin.
Thank you. A quick comment, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Senator Elkins. I think this bill has been around since I was elected a few years ago. I think every time this conversation comes up, I feel the need to remind everybody that driving is a privilege. It's not a right. And so whenever we do drive on the road, it's important for us to recognize the rules of the road. And so I appreciate you bringing it. I'll be voting yes today. Because of that. I know that there's a lot of conversation about infringing on someone else's rights, but I think it's also an infringement on someone's rights if they get ran over or hit. And so I will today be voting yes, and I appreciate Representative McCool sharing his story. So I'll be voting for 9-year-old Bobby McCool today, and for all those who've been affected by this. Honestly, I hope this will really save some lives too. So thank you.
Yeah, and that's an excellent point, and I thank you for those words. But one thing I would like to remind everyone of, and I know there was some concern at some point that, and I haven't seen all the iterations of this bill over the years as well. I actually heard Representative Hale speaking about it when we were meeting at a Chamber of Commerce breakfast in Montgomery County, and when I first heard of this bill. But it is, cameras are already allowed on the school buses. So I know that people sometimes refer to this as a camera bill, and I've heard people come to me and call it a camera bill. But we can already put those cameras on the school buses. Just oftentimes, particularly the smaller school districts, can't afford the cameras. They can't afford to purchase them or to install them or to record the data that's necessary. So this bill would just allows the school districts to collect some money to help with the purchase and installation of these stop arm cameras.
Representative Lehman.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Quick question on just the difference between the original or the Senate bill and this proposed House substitute. There was language about prohibiting fully autonomous vehicles from transporting children, and that seems to have been dropped. Can you give some context to that or background?
Yeah, I'll let
actually on the sub on the very last page, actually, if you're looking there on the very last page, page 11 of the sub, it states there that the school district shall not operate a fully autonomous vehicle as a school bus, defined by KRS. So basically, it just says that they can't have a school bus without a driver.
But I think for clarification, maybe I'm not looking at the right thing, but on the proposed House sub, that language is not there.
Yes, it is. That is in the sub. Page 11 at the bottom. Yes, in the House, but
The
this
House
is,
sub, yeah,
yes,
sorry.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood you.
Yeah.
Representative, my apologies.
But I'm just, yeah, is there any background or understanding why that may have come out of the House sub?
I don't have a good answer for that. I actually fully support limiting or excluding autonomous vehicles from being used for our schools, buses, and school systems.
Right. Thank you.
I would like to see maybe that put back in on the floor, even if we had to. So,
Thank you.
Any other members have any questions? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Representative Bivens? Yes. Representative Branscombe?
Yes.
Representative Bridges? Yes. Representative Donworth?
Yes.
Representative Dossett?
Yes.
Representative Elliott? Representative Hale?
Yes.
Representative Hebron? Yes. Representative Hodgson?
Explain my vote. I 100% agree with the safety motivations of these two fine gentlemen here, and I'm going to vote no today just on the hope that we can somehow find a way to involve a live process immediately like we were able to with Chairman Blanton's bill. Thank you.
Representative Huff?
Yes.
Representative Imes?
Yes.
Representative Lehman?
Yes.
Representative Lewis?
Yes.
Representative McCool?
Yes.
Representative Neighbors?
Yes.
Representative Rourke?
Yes.
Representative Smith?
Yes.
Representative Tackett Lafferty? Yes. Representative Thomas?
Aye.
Representative Upchurch?
Yes.
Chairman Blanton?
Aye. Senate Bill 38 is reported with favorable expression with the committee sub attached thereto. Thank you, gentlemen.
thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, members of the committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Next up on our agenda is Senate Joint Resolution 66 with Senator Funky Fromeyer. I will point out this resolution today is for discussion only in that due to the fact that it got passed on Friday, we've not had time to receive it, get it assigned to the committee, so we won't be voting on it. But where it's asking for a task force, it doesn't require us to vote on it. So we wanted to have her, this is a follow-up from her Senate bill last week. We wanted her to come and talk about her Senate joint resolution. And please, members, don't run off because we do have some one administrative reg to consider before we adjourn. So, Senator, floor is yours. Please
Thank you, Chair
introduce
Blanton.
yourself.
I'm Senator Shelley Funky Fromeyer from Senate District 24, Campbell, Pendleton, Bracken, northeast corner of Kenton.
Rebecca Hartsoe Babbage, co-founder for CBG Airport.
So what we're looking at with the joint resolution is to establish a task force around an economic boom for Kentucky. Just to frame that, aviation, aerospace, and logistics in the industry is estimated to be close to $26 billion within the next few years. This task force will join both legislators, well, I shouldn't say both, legislators as well as the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet and other industry representatives. And the objective is to evaluate, analyze, and really learn what are some of our other neighbors doing in this area. States like Ohio, North Carolina, Florida, they are really doubling down their efforts to attract some of the very highly innovative aviations like the eVTOLs, eVTOLs, which are vertical takeoff and landing craft. Some people do say Jetsons. I just don't want to officially put that out there, unofficially. But this is about advanced air mobility and looking at that next wave of innovation in aviation. We would like to get Kentucky on the forefront. We can be with a multi-billion-dollar industry that we already participate in. This takes us to that next level and putting a task force together that will take on this challenge.
Just going to say that CBG Airport is obviously supportive of this. Anything that we can do to bolster our aviation industry that is huge, our aerospace manufacturing industry. It's one of the biggest in Kentucky. We appreciate this and appreciate your time and consideration.
Thank you, ladies. And, you know, I can absolutely foresee the Jetsons as far as takeoff, landing. But the question is, can it fold up into a briefcase? Are we there yet?
Great question. I think we might volunteer you for the task force.
Any of the members have any questions on this resolution? Comment, Representative Brooks.
Just wanted to make a brief comment. I do love airspace, and would love for the task force to also look into if Louisville's airspace needs to be in a different classification in order to be able to better maintain the safety of the airfield. So love for that to be included. Just wanted to briefly make that comment. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
If not, Senator, thank you for your work on this. I know it's very important to you, and it's important to our Commonwealth. I think most people would be shocked to know that our biggest exporter in the state is in aerospace. So it's very important for the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and thank you for your work on this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for hearing from us today.
Yes, thank you all. Okay. Next up, we have one administration reg for review. This regulation has already been reviewed by our staff and by the administrative reg subcommittee, and that is on 502 KAR 010.120, dealing with hazardous materials endorsement requirements. John Johnson, no, we got a sub today. Please.
Mr. Chair, this is a KSP, Kentucky State
Yep.
Police Reg, so I'm with the Justice and Public Safety Cabinet. My name's Nathan Goins,
Yes, sir.
Assistant General Counsel.
I'm Nathan Day. I'm with KSP.
Yep. Begin.
So TSA, the federal TSA agency increased the rates related to the security threat assessment that needs to be conducted for hazardous material endorsements. That was set via a regulation that went into effect in December. So you may remember we had an E-reg that came through last month. This is the ordinary reg that follows that institutes that $23.25 increase in the fee.
Very good. Any members have any questions? That was simple enough. Always glad to have my KSP family here in transportation. We don't get you all in transportation very often. So simple enough. Sorry to keep you waiting so long, but thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, committee.
Let the record reflect, after the testimony and questions, that the committee has reviewed this regulation. Representative Dossett would like to be recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to record a yes vote on Senate Bill 136, please.
So done. So moved. Anyone else late that needs to record a vote? If not, this concludes our agenda for items today. This may be our last regular meeting of the session, unless we have a special call meeting. This would be the last regular meeting. I just want to take a moment to thank our staff for all their hard work. This session, John Snyder, Ashley, Dana, Christina, joined me in thanking them for their hard work. Seeing no other business come before the committee, we will be adjourned.